Hey, welcome to the very first episode of This Ain't a Scene, It's a Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dawson. I use he, him pronouns, and there's someone else in the room with me right now.
Yeah, that's right. I'm Carson, also he, him. And we're big Fall Out Boy fans.
A little bit.
We bonded over Twitter.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've hung out one-on-one in person. Yeah, I mean, so we basically just had this idea to do Blink 155, which I was I want to say the second or third Patreon subscriber to Blink 155.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. Yeah, we go way back. I talked about Fall Out Boy on Blink 155 earlier last year. I
had no idea.
Yeah, well,
I don't listen to
here
Blink
we are
155.
copying their podcast.
Hey, I mean,
So we spun a wheel. We created a wheel with every Fall Out Boy song on it.
it's a big ass wheel.
It's a big ass wheel. It's digital. We should clarify.
Yeah.
We spun it. And I mean, I have video evidence of this that we'll put on. Is this podcast going to have a Twitter?
I mean, maybe a YouTube, I think.
Maybe a YouTube.
I can put together like a video component probably.
Sure. We'll throw the wheel up there.
Yeah. If that's something that's possible in the medium that you're watching.
Sure. Well, I did a screen recording and I sent it to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, look what song we got. And what song did we get, Dawson?
We got this funny little song called Love from the Other Side. They just put it out.
Yeah, they just put it out. And I think it's a fitting first episode for us to talk about this. First of all, what is like your history with Fall Out Boy?
Honestly, I'm a relatively recent Fall Out Boy fan.
Yeah.
Like I think I only really got into them in like 2020.
Okay.
Before
was it like a
then,
pandemic listen?
Yeah, it was a pandemic listen.
Yeah.
My friend Jen, shout out Jen, love Jen. She showed
Future
me.
guest, maybe, possibly.
She'd probably like to be on, but
yeah.
She showed me Foley, and that was my first like full Fall Out Boy album, which fantastic pick, honestly.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But before then, I'd only heard Thanks for the Memories and the big 2010s hits like after their comeback.
Right. Yeah.
Also the
songs that they play in football highlights.
Yeah, you know, that one with 2 Chainz in the video.
Is that? Oh yeah, my song.
Yeah.
My song's Know What You Did in the Dark has 2 Chainz in the video. I forgot about that. I forgot about that until right now.
I wish I could forget.
So, Foley, however you say it, was also my first record, but my history with it was I loved the song Thanks for the Memories when I was in 4th grade, I think. Had to be 4th grade and or 5th grade maybe, I don't know. And my dad like bought it on iTunes for me so I could listen to it on my iPod. Bygone era, everybody. Yeah. And then one day my dad I think we were going to church and he was like, have you heard the new Fall Out Boy song? I was like, there's a new one? I don't think I understood.
They made more?
I don't think I understood that part. That new music was coming out.
Yeah.
And it was America's Sweethearts. I was like, no, I haven't. And he played it for me. It blew my fucking mind. I was like, this is incredible. And I was like, where's the rest of the album? Because I want to say he bought Infinity on High after I had Thanks for the Memories. I was like, where's the rest of the album? And my dad's like, it's not out yet. And I was like, what do you mean it's not out yet? Like, why can't we go get it? And then a few weeks later, we went and bought it at Best Buy, day of release. So I think I have my copy somewhere, I want to say. But yeah, I played the shit out of that record. And it is still my favorite, I think. Me and our drummer Matt listened to Infinity on High on the way back from New Jersey the other day, and I also really love that record. There's one song on it I think could be cut.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
We'll get
once
to that
we
one.
have to do that song, but yeah. So I suffered through the comeback. I never got to see them live before the hiatus. I saw them on the Save Rock and Roll tour.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. 21 Pilots, Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy. Panic at the Disco, like right as they were getting like really bad.
Yeah. That lineup, maybe like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years before when it happened, would have been amazing.
Probably amazing. Well, it was like early 21 Pilots when they were still kind of like, it was still kind of like a novelty that they had no swag whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like it was like, look at these swagless white guys.
That was part of the appeal.
That was part of the appeal, was that they were completely, entirely swagless.
Yeah.
And then, and I didn't really get it back then, the 21 Pilots thing, but like, it was very evident, like early into the show, that like they were leaning on a lot of the pre-hiatus stuff.
Yeah.
Every time a Save Rock and Roll song was played, like I think I was the only one that knew it. Because I mean, if we're just being real, if we're just being honest, I loved Save Rock and Roll when it came out.
Really?
I did. I mean, my feelings have obviously changed on it.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into on later episodes. But anyway, after 3 post-hiatus albums, we're now on the 4th post-hiatus album. Mm-hmm. We're where they were, before the hiatus, I suppose, on their 4th record after breaking up. It comes out in what, like 2 months?
Something like that. It's
2
pretty
months.
soon.
Yeah. March 24th or something like that.
I think it's March.
Yeah. Which, then we'll have to add more songs to the wheel.
Yeah,
so
that'll be a fucked up day, honestly.
That'll be a fucked up
Wheels
day.
already
sure.
big enough.
Wheels already big enough for sure. It's called So Much for Stardust.
Yeah, so
the
much for
4
Stardust.
Is in parentheses.
Mm-hmm.
So
you could just say so much Stardust and
that
you
is
be wrong.
so yeah. That's what I was thinking. Is that it's like one thing that I noticed, like before we did this, while I was making the digital wheel, typing in all these fucking song names.
Yeah,
this is a band that loves parentheticals.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. There's at least like 2 songs per record.
Yeah.
The Afterlife of the Party, The Shipped Gold Standard, and those words that I'm putting emphasis on are in parentheses.
Yes, you can check for yourself.
You can go look for yourself. I don't lie. I speak in truth.
There's no lies on this podcast.
Yeah. That's one thing we're promising. That's one thing we're promising with this Ain't a
No lies.
podcast. No lies whatsoever, forever.
For real.
Okay, so the first single from So Much for Stardust is out.
Yes.
I kind of butchered that name. It's called Love from the Other Side.
This is true.
Dawson, what do you think of this song?
I think, personally, banger, honestly.
Elaborate.
Yes, I'm about to.
Yeah. We got to fill time.
It's a very refreshing change of pace because right before, literally the day before this happened, this happening being the single dropped.
Yeah.
I, on my band's Twitter, at BummerHillATL, I did a whole Fall Out Boy binge because I hadn't heard any of their post-hiatus albums in full. So I was like, okay, what if I did this funny thing where I started from Evening Out with Your Girlfriend and I went to Mania and I saw how much of my soul I lost in the process.
Sure.
And overall, pretty fun experience.
There's more good than there is bad.
Absolutely.
Technically.
In the most technical
most technical of terms,
there is more good than
there is
bad.
bad. Yes.
on these Fall Out Boy albums. But I finished my marathon. I did this whole like long thread about what I thought about the state of the band and like where they came from and how they got to where they are and if they sold out or not, which we can get into another time. And then the day after, they dropped Love from the Other Side. And I was like,
very serendipitous.
well,
yeah.
Ain't that something? So having just heard all of their post-hiatus stuff and then going right into Love from the Other Side, it was like, you know, like when you're coming down from a mountain and your ears pop?
Sure.
It was like that.
Sure.
Because I had just heard this like shit-ass Mania album where they it's got like almost reggaeton on there on one song,
Yeah.
like fucking Young and Menace or whatever, and then I hear like real live actual guitars.
Yeah, real
like after
drums.
this like
Yeah.
epic piano intro, and I'm like, wow, this is the Fall Out Boy I've been missing.
Sure.
Even
yeah.
though I've only known them for like 3 years at this point.
Sure. Yeah. It's a long time though. It's a long time to be with a band.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
And especially for if I were to get hit by a bus in 3 hours, Fall Out Boy's my favorite band ever.
Yeah.
Like period.
Yeah.
They're the first
4
band I ever
hours.
loved. 4 hours. Yeah. If I have more time to deliberate, it might be Korn. It might be Linkin Park. It could be anything. But I mean, they were the first band I ever loved. Folly was the first record I ever, like called my own. Like it was something that I could hold in my hands that I thought was perfect. And I still feel that way every time I listen to it. I know every word. I've played those songs probably 200 times, more than that. And I still love it. This was such a nice change of pace. I've only ever listened to Mania in full once, and it was the day it came out. And god damn did I hate that record. Like I hated that record.
Yeah.
And this is a very nice return to form. I have my gripes with it. I wish Patrick. We'll get into our gripes.
Yeah.
But I have my gripes with it. But overall, very happy to have them back in this capacity. I think what people are looking for with a return to form is like sounding like the first record.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like the third and fourth records, which are my favorites. So, I don't really care. This rocks. I'm excited to see what the record sounds like. I don't know. Let's get into what we like about the track.
Yeah. So,
or do you want to do dislikes first?
We could do either. I actually, I did some research on this track.
Notes? Okay.
I took some notes before I came here.
Love it.
Just so we could have some like more things to talk about as far as this track's concerned.
Fuck yeah.
So there's not a terrible amount out right now. The song just came out, so
yeah.
They've only really done a couple interviews, but even then, there's still some good pieces of information in there that might color how we feel about the track. So let's just jump right into it. In a January 20th NME interview, Patrick said when writing this new record, he wanted to imagine what it would have sounded like if we had made another record right after Foley instead of taking a break for a few years. It was like exploring the multiverse. It was an experiment in seeing what we would have done. And Neil Avron produced it, who is the same guy who did From Cork Tree to Foley.
Other than the one song Pharrell did on Foley.
Well, yeah, but you know.
I'll bring that up a lot.
Did you know Pharrell did a song on Foley?
Did you know this?
I didn't until just now.
Yeah.
Patrick also said they wanted to return to the mindset they were in when they wrote Foley. Not that they wanted it to sound like Foley, but that they wanted to make a record that they cared about, that they're proud of, which I assume they go into every record like that. But it's not about having anything to prove, but it's a trust fall and letting whatever they do happen.
Yeah. So you made the point on Twitter that you think that everything that they've done is not a sellout. You think they genuinely care.
I do.
About everything. I don't disagree with you, because Pete Wentz will go on these sort of like mental tangents, I'd like to call them. Like, I don't know if you've heard his project immediately after the Fall Out Boy hiatus, but rough stuff. Maybe we'll dedicate an entire episode to the Black Cards, but wow. But I mean, he got really into like producing electronic music, and while I think that they do still care about it, they were on a label. They were on Def Jam, Def Jam Island. I don't know if that's different from Def Jam Recordings, but it might be. I'm
not sure. Point is big label.
Yeah, big label that wanted hits, that wanted your big singles for each record. At the time, I would say the biggest quote unquote, don't fucking blast me on Twitter for this, the biggest quote unquote rock bands at the time were like Imagine Dragons, Bastille.
Yeah.
Like these big, just like, I hesitate to say melodramatic pop rock acts,
Kind of
but
like stadium rock.
Stadium rock, yeah. That was getting real big at the time of the Save Rock and Roll comeback.
Yeah.
And they were able to essentially produce their idea of a huge stadium, hits like the Phoenix, My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark, Centuries, unfortunately. And
That was the album after.
Yeah. It's, yeah, right. I know, but like, and I think Mania is the like example, is the perfect example of that not working anymore.
Yeah.
Because I can name you like 3 songs from that record and none of them were hits.
Yeah.
And I think that Pete Wentz was really interested in exploring certain ideas on Mania, and they just don't really connect. And I don't think that they are Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
I think they're very much Pete and Patrick, just sort of like,
just fucking around.
we're gonna do this, we're gonna try this. And I mean, Pete still really likes it. I don't think Patrick does. I've seen them, I guess, 4 times since hiatus, and I guess 2 times after Young and Menace has been out. And the one time I watched him do Young and Menace live, he just did it with him and a piano, and that was actually kind of cool. But like, I think even they know that song sucks. So it's like, the position that they're put in now, in my opinion, they're off Def Jam.
They're back on Fueled by Ramen.
They're back on Fueled by Ramen, Decadence. The position that they're in now is preserving their legacy. And I think the best way of doing that is to do kind of a half for us, half for them type of deal. I think Patrick has a really big hand in that. This sounds like, it doesn't sound exactly like Foley, but it's close to this idea of like, let's just do something different within the pop rock realm. It's definitely not as weird. But it is interesting to listen to. And I think the popularity of quote unquote pop punk kind of coming back with, the Machine Gun Kelly stuff and, Black Bear would maybe be another example.
Kind of. Willow has also been doing
Willow,
that.
yeah, like these like kind of like pseudo pop punk revivals and like post hardcore revivals that I think it's a mixture of them preserving their legacy and it being a time where like this music is like back, Emo Night sells better than most emo bands, unfortunately. So, it's cool. Do you want to get into our dislikes?
Yeah, we can do that.
Sorry. Did you have more stuff?
There's actually, speaking on this, like why they're returning to the sound that they are.
Go for it. I talked a lot.
It's totally chill. I mean, that's the whole point of this. There's this other interview that Patrick did with Kerrang. Is that how you pronounce
Kerrang!
it? Kerrang, yeah.
Kerrang! Magazine, new issue, 2-page spread.
Check out
with the Cowboys Cowboys. No
Dow
big deal.
Boys Midnight something.
Midnight Dow Boys.
Midnight Dow Boys
spread
on the Kerrang.
But sorry.
Hey, gotta stay plugging. So this is kind of a long quote, so strap in.
Consider me strapped.
All right. Patrick says, I used to work at a used record store, which is different from a regular record store because in a used record store, you see everybody's failures. It's a whole room full of failures because what records are people selling back? It's the ones they don't want. So I got really acquainted with bands' careers and legacies and how artists ebb and flow, rise and fall. Plus, my mom is an accountant, and as an accountant, you plan ahead. So there's always been this expectation that at some point people are going to stop showing up. People are going to stop wanting it. And there was something about Foley. There was an urgency to getting the idea out because you might never get to make another record again. So I wanted to get back to that urgency. It has nothing to do with getting back to the style. This is not a throwback record in that way. Love from the Other Side has elements of it, but I wanted to get back to the spirit of it, that urgency and that savoring of every moment. So
That's awesome.
it kind of that's what I'm saying, like when I say that I don't think they're sellouts, because every album cycle they have an interview or like a press junket where they talk about the record that they're making, and they always seem so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And they have this like very specific reason for why they're doing what they're doing.
Right.
And like, I mean, I've seen interviews from bands who are like very clearly just not really in it creatively anymore. I mean, like read a fucking Maroon 5 interview. It is not nearly as impassioned as how Patrick is talking.
I didn't know there were Maroon 5 interviews now.
Yeah, right.
Profiling what was that guy's name? Steve Valentine or something?
Adam Levine.
No. I think it's hard player. Never mind.
Oh, fucking. I don't know any of the other Maroon 5 members' names.
You know what's funny is they've like stayed with a consistent lineup.
Yeah, they've had the same guys like the whole time.
Yeah,
and nobody knows any of them.
A friend of mine used to say that the perfect level of fame is being one of the guys in Maroon 5 that isn't Adam Levine. And it's kind of true.
Yeah, he's kind of right with that, because like if you're one of the other members of Maroon 5 walking down the street, I don't think you get recognized nearly as much as you should be for a band that's as big as Maroon 5.
Right, yeah. That he's played the Super Bowl, we forget.
Yeah.
That's
with
insane.
Travis Scott.
And
SpongeBob.
Yeah, true.
But
that was the double billing. SpongeBob was the one of three on the Maroon 5 tours.
Is SpongeBob, Travis Scott,
Maroon 5, yeah.
But going back to that article, I did think it was really interesting the angle that they were coming about it, because I saw a couple people on Twitter like right when the song dropped, they were like, yeah, they're selling out again, you know, they're going back to those old styles that they did before, and I'm like, brother, the Fall Out Boy's been called a sellout since Take This to Your Grave.
Right. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Every single album that they put out, they're called a sellout again and again and again.
Right.
And again.
Yeah. No.
And I've never believed it.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that, because I mean, I think the consensus, like a lot of people are coming around on Folie à Deux, but I also think that the consensus after the hiatus was that one sucked. From Under the Cork Tree rocked. Infinity on High is the beginning of the sellout.
Yeah.
Which, like, if you look back on it, Infinity on High does have the most singles. Like, if you go see them tonight, they're going to play mostly Infinity on High stuff.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, Infinity on High is like the beginning of them like figuring it out. Like, I think Cork Tree is really cool. But I mean, yeah, they were being called sellouts for Dance Dance.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I
mean, that's just like the whole shit. Like if a band gets popular, somebody's going to call them a sellout regardless of what they're doing. Like,
of course.
I mean, people are probably going to start calling the Dow Boys sellouts at this point.
If
they haven't already,
because we do stuff in 4/4 now.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck?
Because you can't shake ass to 13/8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fucking, that's just going to happen with every band. So I think that whole conversation about whether or not a band is selling out in general is just really interesting for every band that gets called it. Because like there's some where you can very obviously tell this is like they're obviously selling out here.
Right. Yeah.
But even then, like there's still some wiggle room to debate. It's like, well, how do you know? Like,
right. Yeah. And what I said about like what was popular at the time, it's like it is still their version of it.
Yeah.
And it's not like them. Like those songs still sound very different from Imagine Dragons, but like when you think about what's popular is like the big chorus, big stadium rock bullshit.
Yeah.
And I mean, like when you really think about it, like American Beauty, American Psycho is one of the weirdest albums I've ever heard. Period.
Yeah.
Like, and for better or worse, it is one of the weirdest albums I've ever heard.
It's so strange.
It's such a weird record.
And then there's fucking, we could probably do a whole episode about Make America Psycho again, but that would entail us having to listen to it.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that.
That whole conceit of that project, for anyone who doesn't know, is they
completely forgot about this, Dawson. Motherfucker.
Every single song from American Beauty, American Psycho, and they had a rap remix of it. So that Big Crit is on one of those songs. Who is I did a whole Discog dive on Big Crit a while ago as well. He is like one of the most interesting rappers I've ever.
I agree.
Had the pleasure.
He's one of my
listening
favorites
to.
too. He's so cool.
He's so cool, and like that man is trying so hard to pop off at like every moment.
Absolutely.
And you can really tell on that song he thought that was it. I mean,
yeah, he was like, "I'm doing a remix for Fall Out Boy."
I'm doing a remix for fucking Fall Out Boy.
He didn't know
They're
that. Also,
right
who else is on it?
God, there's so many.
Like Little Tracy is on there or something. And
I was about to say Big Sean, but Big Sean's just on the album normally, which is also
Big Sean's
strange.
on The Mighty Fall. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was thinking about this in the shower. Is that every song on Save Rock and Roll has a feature except for the singles? Like
really,
Alone Together. The singles were Young Volcanoes, Alone Together, My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark, and The Phoenix. Not in that order, but every other song has a feature.
Interesting.
Which is I don't know what that exactly means, but it's like, were they trying to get people to listen to the rest of the record by like throwing features everywhere? Elton John and Big Sean are on the same album. That's awesome. That's dope.
The only thing those two artists have in common is that their names rhyme. And that's it.
Oh, that's true. Damn.
Elton John, Big Sean. Somebody write a bar about that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how, but
I wonder if Big Sean's done it.
Maybe.
Bitch, I'm Big Sean. Popular as Elton John. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean,
sorry, Big Sean. Anyway,
I think Big Sean deserves more respect than he gets, honestly. But
I suppose we'll have to get into that on the.
We'll get into the Big Sean.
Yeah,
episodes.
The Patreon episodes are just Big Sean Discog times.
Big Sean Discog times. But speaking to that arena rock thing, or like just the big choruses.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time post hiatus where they've gotten that sound right.
Mm-hmm. I agree,
because like that it's very easy to do that and go completely wrong with it and sound cheap.
Yeah.
But this sounds like it's anthemic in the good way, and it's moving. It feels like you're sticking your head out of a car window, like the dog on the front cover of the album.
Fuck yeah! No, I agree with that.
That's how we do those. Anyway,
yeah, you're painting with text. I love it.
Yeah.
You're painting with your words. So that is a perfect segue into my dislikes. My dislikes with this. My favorite part about Infinity on High and Folie à Deux is one of my favorite parts. I shouldn't say my favorite part. My favorite part is obviously the songwriting, but one of my favorite parts is that Patrick is doing such indulgent things with his vocals on those songs. And whether or not that's a choice, or if it's like a way to differentiate the last chorus or whatever. But if you notice on the third chorus of all those songs, Patrick is going fucking crazy. He's hitting new harmonies. He's hitting higher notes. He's doing runs that, didn't happen in the rest of the song. I think that that is maybe what I want out of Love from the Other Side. I think he may look back on those songs as a little indulgent. But he's got the talent to do it, obviously. He's still got the, I can't hit that beginning note of this chorus.
No.
This chorus is fucking hard.
Yeah.
And honestly, this song reminded me of one of the Believers Never Die B-sides. From Now On We Are Enemies. It reminded me a little bit of that song, which that's one of my favorite Fall Out Boy songs. So that,
we'll get to that
big
one.
Positive. But I wish Patrick was taking a little bit more of a risk with it. He's a very talented vocalist, and I feel like this song not diminishes his abilities, but it doesn't really show them off.
Yeah.
My other dislikes, I don't know if I have that many, but that's the only real note I have on it.
Yeah.
What about you?
So, I see where you're coming from as far as vocally is concerned. I'm kind of on the other end of it where I do think he's overdoing it a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this has kind of been a theme with like Tumblr era pop punk bands. Like, because Brendon Urie does this a lot too. Way worse than
way
Patrick
worse,
does.
and also I think way less tastefully.
Yeah.
He
Patrick
knows he's indulgent and he's fine with it.
Yeah. Brendon Urie is a big bastard a little bit. But Patrick is definitely, he's got more restraint than Brendon does. But that doesn't mean that like Patrick is like full sending it for most of the song except for the bridge. Like he is full sending it the entire time, which if you're not really a fan of that, then I could see the song getting a little tiring. Like one of my friends was like, yeah, Patrick is still a shit singer post hiatus, but this is a listenable track. And I was like, I disagree, but I see where you're coming from. So I do think there's a little element of that because like.
So you think he's over singing?
A little bit.
I think in the verses, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah. Chorus, I think warrants it.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's a big ass chorus and it's like 4 on the floor and it's like, I mean, Andy Hurley, just what a fucking drummer.
What a fucking beast.
What a fucking beast of a drummer. Did you watch the video?
No.
Okay.
I kept forgetting.
Joe Troman's not in it.
No, yeah.
They replace him in a raccoon suit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's him under the raccoon suit. I don't know.
Well, Joe Troman, like for anybody who hasn't been following it, he stepped back from the band. Like it was officially announced right after the single dropped, due to mental health reasons. So he's not been doing any promo performances on late night shows, or he's not in the video or anything. So like he's still a part of the band, but just wish him the best.
And I don't know if I want to go see them without him. Yeah, but I do think the set list for this upcoming tour, I think it's going to be a lot better than what their previous set lists have been. I saw them in 2018, the year Mania came out. Terrible. And no, the set list was great. Like
really?
It was really crazy. Like they opened with Disloyal Order of Water Buffaloes, went into Thriller, and then went into Hum Hallelujah. And I was like, what is this fucking show?
That's crazy, actually.
And I knew that I didn't really care to hear them close with Saturday for the millionth time.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of dumb that they close every show with that song, but I mean, they can do what they want.
Yeah.
But like my songs started playing and I was like, I think I'm just going to leave.
I'm out of here personally.
I was like, I think I'm fine.
I don't need to see this one.
No. And then like, obviously they played, as I was leaving the festival, they were busting into Centuries and I was like, yeah, I'm totally cool with this.
Yeah. It's like, it's time for me to dip.
Yeah. No, yeah. The videos, they're kind of back to having a personality again, which is interesting. They're like, it's the 4 of them playing in a room together, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Whoever's in the raccoon suit, I don't think it's Joe.
No.
But whoever's in the raccoon suit is slamming it on one of those Fender Telecasters.
It's worth noting that Joe is all over the record, apparently.
Yes.
So like he did write on the record, and he's like, it's still a 4-piece Fall Out Boy record.
Right. Well, did you saw everything about that book that he put out?
No.
Okay. So he, wow. I don't know. We should, I thought we were going to get into this and you were going to be like, we'll dedicate an episode to that.
I'm lost here.
Well, maybe
we could talk about it another time if it warrants.
No. He put out a book. I believe it's called This Isn't Fun Anymore. And in the book, he kind of dives into how like the last 3 Fall Out Boy records, he's like hated making them.
Like the post hiatus, or like
the post hiatus records, Save Rock and Roll to Mania.
Gotcha.
He's I believe the quote was something like, why do we have to make another big hit? Like, why can't we just like write music together? And then in his Instagram post regarding taking time off from the band, he was like, I'm very, very proud of this record. So that to me is like kind of the mark of it. And I mean, they've always been very open about this, but they've always said that financially they split everything 4 ways. Yeah. Like regardless of what it is, if the band gets a check, royalty check or, check for a show, whatever it is, they split it 4 ways. So I have a feeling that if Joe voiced that he wasn't having fun anymore, they were like, okay, well, let's fucking make something that we're proud of, So I'm interested to see where it goes. I don't really want to see them live without Joe. I think that's kind of weird because obviously they're running his stuff on backing tracks. They don't have another guitar player in his place, as far as I know. They haven't had it for the late night performances.
Well, that's different.
Yeah,
there's a chance that they could have another guitarist filling in for the
live
actual
stuff
shows
behind a curtain with an X on the ground
in the raccoon suit.
You can't move anywhere.
No stage presence.
Well, it'd be
You're not
yeah,
here.
right. Well, I remember the guy from Cobra Starship used to fill in for Joe when Joe couldn't do things. And do you remember Cobra Starship?
I am familiar with the name.
Yeah. Dark times. Yeah. I'd love to see someone notable fill in for Joe, but also I don't want to see them without Joe.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah. Dawson's
I'll fill
in.
I can't play guitar, but I'll figure it out.
You can play bass.
That's true. Well,
Pete can figure out
Pete's
guitar.
Yeah. Hey, Pete, how about you figure out that guitar over there?
Even
I
though
got
you're
this.
even though you're very clearly mimicking bass on these late night performances. He's having fun though.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to put on a show. I thought the Kimmel performance was interesting. Did you see it?
No.
Was it Kimmel or Fallon?
It was one of the two. I can't tell the difference between them. They're all the same to me.
I think it was Kimmel. But did you watch it?
I saw like the first little bit of it.
Yeah, I got up to the first chorus and I was like, I know what the song sounds like. I'm good.
It's not like
I don't have to watch them play it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, overall, I think that I'm excited for this record. Cautious but optimistic. I don't like that it's the first song on the record. I kind of hate that. I don't like the first song being spoiled for me. That's just me. But
I
you know.
guess.
Yeah. In your text to me when I said cautious but optimistic about this record, or I think I said I'm excited, and you were like, I've been burned by lead singles before. I wanted to ask you, what lead singles have you been burned by?
Boy, most recently, the new Panic at the Disco record.
Really,
I really liked the lead single "Viva Las Vengeance."
Okay.
I thought, even though Brendon was overdoing it vocally, I thought that it was a really good song. And after Pray for the Wicked, because I've known about Panic and been a fan of them for way longer than I have Fall Out Boy.
Oh wow,
yeah,
we're gonna have to do some Panic episodes.
I have an idea.
Patreon
about that
Panic Patreon.
I'll tell
episodes.
you later.
Okay,
but,
cool. We don't want to show our hands.
Spoil it.
Yeah.
But so when I heard Viva Las Vengeance, I was like, holy shit, maybe he's back, because I can't say they're back because it's not a fucking band.
Yeah.
But then this was actually like a triple whammy, because the next single came out, and even though the lyrics were a bit cringe, I think that single was middle of a breakup.
Oh, okay.
I thought the lyrics were a little cringe, but I mean, song itself I still liked, and I was like, maybe this is going to be a good album. And then the next single came out, which was
Local God.
Local God was the fourth one, or maybe it was the third one. But regardless, when Don't Let the Light Go Out came out, I was like, holy shit, there's no shot this is a bad record. Listen to it. Terrible record.
Dawson, that rocks. I love that you thought that was going to be a good record.
I was so optimistic, dude. Like, Don't Let the Light Go Out is genuinely the best thing Brendon has written since any of the good songs on Death of a Bachelor. Like, I stand by that.
You think that album has good songs?
I think that album has 5 good songs, maybe 6 on a good day.
I think it maybe has 1. And it's the one Rivers Cuomo wrote.
Which one did he write?
I forget.
Awesome.
Yeah. What's the champagne, cocaine, gasoline?
Fucking.
I like that song. That song's not bad.
That is a good one. What the fuck is it called? Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time.
Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time. Yeah, that one's all right.
That one has a very good riff.
See,
it's just Rock Lobster, but it's still very good.
Well, yeah, I believe it samples Rock Lobster.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Stupid, but awesome.
Mega swag.
I see everything after Too Rare to
That
Live.
one. Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die.
Thank you. I always fuck up that title. I see everything after that as fucking junk.
Yeah.
And like I just like, you know, if I'm putting it in my body, I'm like, yeah,
well, that was
I like
the last
it,
one
but I
that
like it because
Spencer
it's
was
gummy
on.
worms.
And then, like, from Too Weird to Live, it was just Panic.
Yeah.
because Spencer left after Too Weird, and then
Dallin leaves before Pray for the Wicked, or just
Dallin was.
Dallin's on Death of the Bachelor.
Dallin, I don't know how much Dallin really counts, unfortunately, because
Dallin was an official member after Vices and Virtues.
Absolutely, he was absolutely an official member, but I don't know how much creative input he really had.
I think he had a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I want to say he had a good amount. We'll have to do more research into that.
I'll have to verify.
Anyway, let's get back to our Fall Out Boy show.
Yes.
So let's get into the lyrics of this, because that's the other component. If you don't know, Pete Wentz writes all the lyrics for Fall Out Boy, plays bass, does not sing, writes all the lyrics.
Power move.
So first of all, Maddie from my band knows this. I have a history of mishearing Fall Out Boy lyrics, like very badly.
A lot of people do.
I mean, we'll get into that each episode, and I'll tell you what I thought the lyric was.
Do you have one for every song?
I think I do. Yeah,
that's so funny.
So for this one, I thought the opening lyric of the bridge was, "I saw you in a broccoli field." Sorry, like that's what I thought it was.
Saw you in a broccoli field.
It sounds like that. The actual lyric is bright clear field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A broccoli field. That's a good one.
Yeah, that one embarrassed me quite a bit. But I thought the lyrics to this song were good.
I do too.
They're not Pete's best.
No,
they're different.
Fully.
They're different than anything he's ever done. I think that line about a kid playing pretend in his father's suit, thought that lyric was really cool. I don't like the there's no way off the hamster wheel in this rat race. Don't like that lyric. That's the one lyric in this song that I like.
It's kind of a clumsy metaphor.
Yeah.
Hamsters and rats, I mean, they're not the same. They're both rodents, but they're not the same.
Yeah. And as a lyricist, I know that sometimes things just aren't supposed to make sense. So I don't want to critique him too hard. I'm just saying I don't like that lyric. I think it's dumb.
I think overall these lyrics are like, I mean, I agree, they're really good. There's a lot to unpack with them. I think a lot more than has been for a while for Fall Out Boy.
I agree. Yeah.
Like there's a lot of there's also some good one-liners in there. Like my favorite lyric from this song is probably "I'd never go, I just want to be invited."
Oh, I love that lyric.
That's so hard.
That's so dope.
Like I don't want to hang out with you, but like, you know, it feels good to be included.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
I think
I've definitely said that out loud before.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like and it very clearly feels like it was written during the pandemic, because like the whole record has been like they admitted to that, but I mean the chorus, especially with sending my love from the other side of the apocalypse, like that just feels like it's about COVID, obviously.
Maybe I could see that.
I think if this came out,
I hate lyrics about like quarantine and like being locked inside and stuff. Like I hate that.
There comes a point where, I mean, I've just gotten used to it. As long as it's not like fucking just like I'm losing my mind in this quarantine, I will kill you if you write something like that. But like, if it's like a little artful about it, you know, like, or even just dramatic, like that's a dramatic way to describe it. Like calling it an apocalypse, like I mean, it was for some people.
Sure.
So I fuck with that.
I fuck with it. When I first heard the little preview that they put on Twitter, I was like, "Do I like that lyric?" And I do now. I think it's cool.
It's grown on you.
It's grown on me quite a bit. I think that the way that Patrick sings it makes it a little bit more, a little bit less corny.
Yeah.
I mean, there's corny lines on Folly I Do, but like, I still like them.
Patrick sells it. That's
Patrick
the thing.
sells it on that record.
On their best songs, if Pete has a corny line in there, Patrick will usually sell it, and then it doesn't matter that it's corny anymore.
I agree. Yeah. The lyric on Tiffany Blues, I'm not a crybaby, I'm the crybaby. Yeah. That lyric is like so dumb, but it works so well. Like,
especially the way he sings it. It's like, and it's the opening line of the track, like just
of Tiffany Blues. Yeah,
based as hell. Honestly,
so dope.
Back to this song though.
Yeah.
There's
I saw you in a broccoli
I
field.
saw you in a broccoli field for sure.
Hurricane heat in my head.
Yeah, that's another thing. There's a lot more like metaphors in this song. It's not as literal as they have been recently, which I like. The more personally, the more pretentious. Well, pretentious because I mean, in air
Pretentious
quotes,
is relative.
pretentious is relative. The more it's not really a good word to describe it. Actually, I'm gonna find a different one. The more abstract Fall Out Boy is, like the more obtuse the lyrics are. The more I generally like them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because like that's like most of Foley is like just abstract, obtuse metaphors.
I would
It's
agree
like,
with that.
what did they mean by this? Except for some of them. Some of them are a little obvious. Like I don't care what you think as long as it's about me.
Right. Yeah.
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. But the verses of that song are mad weird.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I mean, I agree with you. The more abstract they are,
is Pete's good at that?
Pete's very good at the abstractions. And they start with From Under the Cork Tree for sure. Even some of the more literal ones on Cork Tree, I'm like, that's still like done well.
Yeah.
And also for the time, like you gotta, you gotta give it to him.
Yeah.
From Under the Cork Tree is a horny record, very horny record. And I mean, I think he pulls it off well. And this doesn't feel like a return to form. It feels like something new for Pete lyrically, which I think is good. It's a good thing. I don't feel like he's doing a imitation of his past self, and it also isn't the bullshit that they've been pulling out.
I feel like a lot of people are going to hear it's not a return to form and assume that we mean it's bad.
Right. Yeah.
But that's not really what we're saying. Like a return to form, honestly, like in terms of lyrically, I think would just I think it would be worse, honestly.
I think it would be much worse.
So,
I agree completely.
Something different is good. Just clearing that up before we get any comments.
Yeah, no. Have you read any of the Genius annotations?
No,
on these?
I haven't.
So
Are they funny?
I'll pull them up. They're just very silly. Like the opening line, model house life meltdown, still a modern dream letdown, which I think is a very good lyric. But the annotation is model homes are used by builders to showcase to prospective clients what the end result will look like if they were to purchase a home and have it built specifically for them. They aren't made with the intention of being lived in, though they are sometimes sold. This may be implying that the life they have built for themselves feels like a show or a farce, a copy of the real thing, but not quite the same. The realization that the life you thought you built for yourself or having been living wasn't quite what it was promised to be. And I got that.
Yeah.
I got that part of it.
Yeah.
I do think it's very funny that someone feels the need to write all that out.
I think it's very funny that somebody needs to write out what a model home is.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I watched Breaking Bad. I know that you don't sell those, and then Walter White bartered with him.
Arrested Development. Yeah, they live in a model home. Yeah.
Walter White was like, anything is negotiable, and then he bought the model home for some because he's
cooking
fucking bastard.
He's crazy.
Hate Walter White.
I think he's cool.
Well, yeah, I hate him in the way that you're supposed to hate him. That Vince Gilligan intended. Shout out Vince Gilligan for real. If you're listening, I love you.
Vince Gilligan is not listening, but maybe one day.
Imagine.
Maybe one day Vince Gilligan will get into Fall Out Boy.
I like to, I like to plan for all occurrences,
Sure.
Just in case.
Yeah. Just in case Vince Gilligan.
Just in case.
Shout
Vince
out one
Gilligan
time.
is listening.
Shout out one time.
For the one time.
I still
Vince
haven't seen
Gilligan.
Better Call Saul.
What the fuck is wrong with you? It's even better than Breaking Bad.
No shit. Shut the fuck up.
I'm not fucking with you. It's
That's
better.
crazy. Okay. So the other annotation that made me laugh. Well, and also like, I don't know if this is like just a fan that's trying to like relive the glory days or something, but they annotated the lyric. This city always hangs a little bit lonely on me, loose, like a kid playing pretend in his father's suit. The Genius annotation is the speaker feels they don't fit in with the rest of the city. Comparing it to clothing meant for someone else. This lyric is reminiscent of, and I knew that the lights of the city were too heavy for me, from Fall Out Boy's song Golden. I disagree entirely.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I think the city is just a common songwriting.
Yeah,
vehicle.
you have to use the city to talk about what you will do in it, what you have done in it.
You have to bring up the city.
Yeah, what you're doing in it right now.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I'm in downtown somewhere.
Right, yeah.
Not the city.
You'll never know.
I'm not telling you.
It could be your downtown. It could be my downtown. I don't know.
It could be downtown Habersham, Georgia, which is not a city.
But yeah, someone wrote another very long paragraph about the lyric "I'd never go. I just want to be invited."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you. I don't like these annotations unless it's like some incredibly abstract reference to like a 15th century composer that I'm not aware of. Like, you know,
those are funny because they're either like super correct and you read it and you feel like your brain's expanded, or you read them and you're like, I don't know how the fuck you came to that conclusion.
Right?
But that's rad.
Yeah, no. Or third option, it's so like obvious what the meaning is, or it's so stupid that you're like,
this is a reference to Edgar Allan Poe. It's like, yeah, man.
Yeah, obviously. So I'm ready to wrap this up. We've done like 50 minutes or something.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good length.
I feel like it's a good length.
Probably.
But we got to do two things.
Okay.
We got to rate this song.
True.
Out of 10. Mm-hmm. And we got to spin the wheel for the next episode.
Yeah. Give the audience a little stinger for the next one.
Little stinger.
So first off, ratings. You go first. What would you give it?
I'm going to say cautiously, it's a 7. Because I think with the album out, it'll grow on me and become probably a higher score. But right now it's a 7. It's really good. It's really good. It's closer to an 8 than it is to a 6, as your movie sucks would say.
Oh boy, that guy.
Yeah. We have very similar internet experiences. I'm realizing
we do.
It's closer to an 8 than it is a 6. I like it a lot. I'm gonna cautiously say 7. What do you say?
I say, I'm gonna say fuck it. I'll give it an 8. Honestly,
okay.
Because I have the day it came out, I tweeted on the band account at BummerHillATL. I tweeted the fact that something to the effect of I'm scared to listen to this Fall Out Boy song, and the fact that everyone is telling me it's good is making me more scared.
Right.
And then I listened to it.
I had the same experience.
And then I listened to it, and I was like, "This fucks." And I listened to it 10 more times in a row.
Right. Yeah.
So
I was nervous to text you because the first person to send it to me and be like, "Hey, new Fall Out Boy was our good friend Dom Maduri, future guest of the pod."
Shout out Dom Maduri for real.
Dom Maduri was like, "Yo, this is awesome," and I was like, "I trust you, but I'm also very scared."
Yeah.
And I listened to it twice, and I was like, "Okay, it rocks." So yeah, and then I texted you like probably 4 hours later, and I was like, "So do you like it or not?"
So what do you think about this?
What do you think of it?
Because I had a similar experience where I think Whitney texted me and she was like,
"Future guest of the pod."
Future guest on the pod.
Everybody's a future guest of the pod.
Whitney texted me and she was like, "Yeah, let me see if I can find the actual text."
I'm gonna play Whitney and I's voice memos that she definitely doesn't want to be played on the show.
God. Let's not do that. Let's see. Oh heavens! I thought it was going to be easy to find because we don't normally like text entire conversations.
Sure.
But then we just did about a certain tour that got announced that I'm not going to say on the podcast.
Oh, Whitney and I also talked about that. That's what Whitney and I's voice memos were about.
That one. Definitely don't play those on the podcast.
She was with your singer Jack.
Yeah. Shout out Jack for real.
Future guest of the pod, Jack.
Future guest of the pod.
We should make Jack listen to some dog shit. I would really like that.
He would. Oh my goodness, that would be so funny. I don't know. Did Whitney? Oh, she Snapchatted me. That's what it was.
Damn.
So I don't know what she said specifically, but
Whitney,
she's like,
Whitney's still using Snapchat.
we have
Crazy
a
ass
300-day streak.
Oh my god.
She's the only person I have a streak with, and it's just because that's how we first started talking to each other.
Sure.
So now neither of us can stop.
Sure. Almost a year.
Yeah, 65 more days. But
Yeah.
she Snapchatted me and she was like, this new Fall Out Boy is really fucking good. And I was like, I hate that you're telling me that as well, because that's got to mean something.
Yeah.
Because like I trust your opinion. And then I listened to it and I was like, okay, this is a fucking banger.
Yeah. I was going to say 8. But cautiously I'm saying 7 because I am still worried about this record. I am still worried about this record.
Yeah,
sucking.
don't get either of us wrong. As at the point of this recording, which I feel like we'll put it out before the album comes out.
I mean, yeah,
God willing. But the album has not come out yet. This is the only song that has been released from the record at the time of this recording. So this is the only taste we have of it. So I'm in agreement. I am very cautious because the last 3 records before this have been dog ass.
Dog ass. In the most literal form. Sorry if Pete and Patrick are listening.
I'm sorry, Pete and Patrick. I'm sure you guys.
I love you so much.
You guys are fantastic, but I personally did not like those records.
Future guest of the pod.
Future guest of the pod, Pete Wentz.
Yeah, I hope so.
Imagine. But yeah, cautious. But I'm willing to go the distance and say this is still a good song.
I'm waiting for that full Zane Lowe interview to drop because I'm very curious about that.
Yeah,
it's not out yet. I literally got Apple Music again so I could watch it, and it's not out yet.
And it's not out yet because I listened to.
Better come out before they fucking charge me.
For real, I listened to that snippet that they had on Apple One, and after that snippet, the host was like, "You can go listen to that full conversation with Zane Lowe," and I was like, "Can I?" And then I checked, and I can't.
No.
Fucked up.
Very fucked up. All right, Dawson. It's time to spin the wheel.
It's time.
The dreaded wheel. I'm screen recording so we can splice this in later.
Big wheel.
The big wheel. I still have it labeled Fobcast. All right, here we go. I have removed Love from the Other Side from the wheel.
Okay.
Here we go. It's spinning.
It's spinning.
Carpal Tunnel of Love. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm a big fan of this song. Cool.
Next episode will be another positive one.
Positive one. we haven't gotten a bad one yet.
Tune in next time if you want to hear us talk about how much we like Fall Out Boy more. And if you hate this podcast, don't tell me.
Don't tell me either.
Yeah.
That would really ruin my fucking day.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of rude, I guess. Unless you're like constructive criticism.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me like, this sucks, you're cringe, kill yourself.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll
happen. I type to you daily anyway, but
yeah. I don't think that'll happen outside of Carson. So
I don't know why my co-host is telling me all these things every day.
Yeah, I think it's just banter, but I feel like it's getting pretty serious at this point.
Yeah. March 5th, 2023.
So true.
If you're in Louisville, Kentucky, come see the Calloused Cowboys in Bummer Hill.
So true.
At Mag Bar.
At the Mag Bar. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come out if you're a fan of Bummer Hill, or if you're not and you want to listen to some new.
If you're a fan of the podcast, come out.
If you're a fan of the podcast, come out and go like,
hey, the tall, deep voiced one.
Yeah, come meet the bass player and be like, hey, I listened to that. I listened to that Fall Out Boy podcast. I don't know a goddamn thing about your music, but
yeah, there you go.
I'll give you a firm handshake for that one.
Sure, yeah. Dowboys, the Calloused Cowboys, my band, is going on tour also. Starts in Atlanta, ends in Pontiac, Michigan, I believe, or no, ends in Louisville, Kentucky with Bummer Hill, excuse me.
That's true.
I believe we are going to every major city in the United States. So
let's go.
Just go on our Twitter or Instagram and come say hi. Maybe we'll do a live pod at the Kentucky show.
Imagine.
Yeah.
That would be kind of fun.
At load-in.
At load-in. Everyone's like, guys, fucking help move the equipment. It's like,
and we're like,
no.
We got to talk about Last of the Real Ones
We're
real quick.
podcasting, all right? Fuck off. So yeah, follow both of our bands at Bummerhill ATL on Twitter, at Bummerhill on Instagram, at the Callous Dow Boys on pretty much everything, I think.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Listen to our band's music.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Both of us. Fuck.
Both of our bands are pretty PogChamp. I gotta say,
pretty PogChamp.
Pretty PogChamp.
I gotta say,
if I had to give a descriptor, I would say that they're PogChamp.
Yeah.
New music from Bummerhill in 2023. Okay.
And new music from the Callous Dow Boys in 2023.
New music from both of our bands in 2023.
That's right. All right.
All right. Bye. Love you.
Bye.
This has been This Ain't a Scene. It's a podcast.
It's a podcast.